So apologies for the technical problems.
They don't like when we connect as people.
So
We get that in France all the time.
Your mentors.
Yes.
So Tshak, you were saying that your
My mentor, my biggest mentor is my dad, my mother, obviously, and family and friends, people are my colleague. You know what I mean? You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. You know, over the last, how long we've been working together now? 2 years. This guy is giving me a dirty look. I've learned so much from this guy here. It's a love-hate relationship, but I generally, I've learned so much from him, and I respect him for it. You know what I mean? This man here, I used to work with him in Asda many years ago.
Wow.
And I feed off him. And this lovely lady, I only know her the other day, and I feed off you as well. So you know, as I said, I you know, everybody, each one teaches one.
Yeah.
I believe that. Yeah. But my dad was the biggest one.
Yeah, with men, man, even in like most people don't really, like us as Black people, we don't really understand what mentoring is. Because even amongst like you know, guys, like we know that in the Caribbean, like a mother and father don't rear a child in it, you need the community in it. With here, it's hard because somebody will like see like who are, just like the other day, like at this kid, the mom leave the kid in the chair to go get some bits at the shop. And this kid is telling me, you can't tell me what to do, you're not my dad.
Ha.
You know what I'm saying? And this kid, he's not 5-year-old yet. You get me? And when he come, the mom like laughing in it.
Yeah.
My mind in it. Like I'm thinking, about that. You get what I'm saying? So that's the society we're in it. So
yeah,
with mentoring and all of them stuff, like it's as it says, like, everything just westernized in it. So for myself, is like, because I grew up like in Jamaica, and like, so all of those roots, all of those foundations, that's what keeping me. So like come here, like you have to like look around in it and choose the bits in it to represent yourself in it, because I'm representing me, my family back home, and my culture in it. You get touch wood, like I've been here like how many years, and my parents never get a phone call to say, you know what, I'm behind bars. You get and
exactly.
I grew up like in Mossad era and Manchester era where I see everything, you get what I'm saying? But I know myself in it and I know my worth, and it come back down again. You have to know yourself. And that's the only way you can get through this society as a Black man. You have to know yourself, and when you know yourself, you know your worth in it. You get what I'm saying?
One thing that was really important that you said as well is the thing of the people around you. It's the environment you were in. And unfortunately, a lot of the kids here do not have that. I'll be honest, I didn't have that. But luckily, you know, me and Errol, we come, you know, where we lived was a relatively good area. So, you know, and we didn't just live amongst Black people. We got lots of Asian friends, Chinese friends, Jewish friends. There's lots of Jewish people in the area that we came from, you know, but that one thing that we were saying as well is like that respect. That little 5-year-old should be talking to you as if you're like another father, but we're not taught in the same way here, you know, which is so wrong. You know, have respect for your elders.
I think it's a bit different in France. It's the same thing. I got the same kind of. I got that today actually. One of the kids, because my French is about 80%, so I can speak French when I'm teaching. And one of the kids, I said, "Could you pick up one of the crayons on the floor?" And he just looked at me, kissed his teeth, right? And I looked at him and I just went, "Where did he get that from?" And he just said, "You're not my dad." And I said, "Pick up the crayon and sit in the seat." And I said it so sternly, he just looked at me and he went, "Okay, this guy means business." Pick up the crayon and sat in the chair. But it's what you said. There is no respect in the sense that it's not taught. in society today, it's not taught because it has to be either looked up in a book, on the internet, or somebody has to actually mention it to you and go, oh yeah, because in France, you got 3 different types of people that are here. You got Moroccans, Algerians, Tunisians, you got French, you got French African, you got French Caribbean, and they've all got different ways of looking at things, and everybody's not together. Like in England, we have our differences. We are kind of together, but in France, they're very, very separate, and people like to show puppy show, you know? And it's funny because people smile on your face, and afterwards it's like they'll talk behind your back. And the youth are, yeah, they don't have because I'm the only guy where I work, black guy where I work, black man where I work, at 3 schools I work. And I'm the most talented out of all the animators that have worked there. They do the mundane things and stuff like that. And every time it's like, oh, what's Errol doing today? What's Errol doing today? It's because of the like what you said, it's the trade. It's what you can fall back on. I had my animation, I had my cartoons, I had my martial arts. I would do martial arts for the kids. Sometimes it's like, hey, you can't do martial arts for the children. So, well, I could do meditation, I could do Tai Chi. You know, they're not hating anybody. Oh, yeah. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, you are really talented. I go, well, this is what I've practiced over the years, over 40 plus years. You know what I mean? But kids don't have that these days, unfortunately.
What I have to do is I have to big up my friend here as well, where you were talking about mentoring as well. You know, both of us at the moment are trying to start our own businesses. So he's always giving me updates on what he's doing, and I'm giving him updates on what I'm doing. You know, this time last year, we hadn't even started. We had done nothing, you know, but now this guy, especially, I need to catch up with him now with all the things that he's doing. But also, I'll big him up again. If you know Wallace, was it Wallace and Gromit? You know, the Wallace and Gromit, these animations. This guy went to the same school or the same university as the guy that did that. So that shows how talented he really is. You know, very, very talented guy, and humble with it, you know.
Salute, bro.
For real. Yeah, man.
So it's interesting because you're all talking about a village and how important it is to have that village, and we don't have that now. So it's like the young people that you're working with or you come into contact with, it seems like they feel that the respect they need to give only has to come from their mum or their dad. Like everybody is just sorry, go on, sorry. I was gonna say so.
You say, all right, hear my point of view now. You say, when as a black man that's coming from afar away, we black people, we had a thing inside of what we call godliness. And we're supposed to have, because that's what we gain from our foreparents. We have lost that along the way. And because we have lost that along the way, we also lost God along the way.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got God inside of you straight up, right, true and true, you really haven't got nothing. You're just like a wandering sheep. And that's what we are still are today, because we don't have that love and that humanity, that closeness as black people that we did have before. The connection, all of that is gone. Just basically have the color, but we haven't got nothing more to show for it. If you notice, even in these days, look, you say, for instance, the Muslim they unite, they go to their prayer, and they stick to who they're praying to, and they keep their culture. Look on the churches. You can't, in England, they had so many churches, you can hardly find one to go to if you want to go to one now. Where do we go on Sundays? Or where are we coming from on a Sunday morning?
No,
so you find out that we have got no love, we got no God inside of us. And so our culture, even that has deteriorated. We might have like a congregation with friends, or you are brought up, or that one was brought up, and we sit down and we can talk. And we can have a laugh, yes. But our children then behind us that's supposed to be the man and woman of tomorrow, they haven't got that inside of them. They haven't got no God, they have got no love inside of them. If you notice our women and men, we don't even stick together no more.
Yeah.
That shows you that how far apart we're gone.
Yeah.
We haven't got no connections. But we can still gain it back, but only one way we can gain back all of them kind of thing, them trust. We have to go back to our foreparents, and we have to come forward, and we have to start like all over again. Because the world is so exposed to so many things now that our children, and they at certain age now, they don't even really want to hear what we have to say much. Their own life already. And their whole life that they have created, it's a godless life. And you can't go through this life or this generation and all of them things without God inside your heart and love. And that's supposed to be your Bible or your Quran or whatsoever you pray for, that's supposed to be your strongest mentor. Because so many temptations come along the way where you're going to need deep down to carry on.
Thank you. Do you see yourselves as mentors, like the kind of work that you do?
Yeah, like it's a powerful thing. You get it? Because under there you have your clients, you have like people like I have like doctors like come here and like they start in my chair like 10-15 minutes before you start cut the hair. You get what I'm saying? Because again, they finish the shift and they have some spare time. They think, you know, I let me nip to the barbers. But when they go home, the missus may be already in work. You get who to talk with. You get what I'm saying? So when they take that little spare time to come to the shop, you get me? I have doctors who just finish a shift, come from an operating table, body like lost, a life lost. You get what I'm saying? The kids are in school, the missus at work, who to talk with? You get what I'm saying? So even my clients, like, as soon as they come through the door, I could say, listen, what's happening today? And they like, go beating around. And I said, listen, just come straight in it. What's happening? Or they will come and like, oh, I want a haircut. And I look at my watch, or I look at the day of the week. I'm saying, this is not like you, innit? Where we're heading to tonight. You get what I'm saying? And they start laughing. So we play a vital role in like those are guys' life. Maybe a small thing, maybe just a sentence, just a word. You just never know. But it is a great skill. And as I said, young people, old people, everybody come through here. You get what I'm saying? Everybody has stuff to say. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, I think it's a mentoring role.
When we grow up, we are all from the West Indies. When we all grow up, we grew up among elders. Here, our children are not growing up among elders here. We're not really teaching them anything. And that's why the kids are out on the streets now. They have got no manners. They have got no respect. Asking ourselves why and how. But
yeah, it's something that does have to be addressed. And you know, I haven't actually, Errol, I haven't met your children yet, but
yeah.
I know that's one of the things that
me and Errol
have conference like these and bringing the children then.
Yeah, but also as well, it's more. I was brought up very much the same way as you were, although I was born here. You know, my stepfather was Jamaican, so of course I learned, you know, some of what I know through the Jamaican side of the family as well. And in a way, I even actually consider myself as a Jamaican, except I can't speak patois. you know. But, you know, I used to sit down, eat my callaloo, you know, my ackee and saltfish, all that. I grew up with that, as well as my African dishes, the fufu and stuff like that. You know, but manners was always an important thing. And the one thing I must say about my kids, when I've been to the schools, they've always, even though my eldest one used to be quite naughty, but they used to still say that she had good manners. So I was like, oh, she's not behaving herself, but at least she's got some manners. It's very, very important.
It's very important.
Very, very important.
I think in France it's the same thing. We've got the kids, the French white kids. They listen to the music and stuff. It's got all the swearing and stuff like that. Everything they got swear, but they don't understand what the swearing is. Obviously, there's a different translation. And my daughter was with me. She must have been about 7. We're on the tram, and this little child, 5, 6 years old, was effing and blinding and la 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 la. And my daughter just looked at me and she said, if I said that in front of you, Daddy, what do you think I would do? I just had looked at her because she knew that all I had to do was look at her saying, you couldn't do that on the street. And that would be my mum doing that to me. You couldn't do that on the street. And that's her mum saying that to her. And my brother and sister wouldn't do that. They wouldn't turn around and start acting like that because you know there's your place. You know that there's a certain way of you carry yourself in public. It's not because, okay, you're going to attract attention and you might look idiotic. It's because as Black people, yeah, there's always a stereotype that's around us that says, oh, Black people act in this way, Black people do this, especially their children, and you know, their children do this. But we struggle in this age just to try and say, listen, you have to maintain that. You know what I mean? Back then, 30, 40 years ago, you know you couldn't even step out of line. You couldn't step out of line, but now things have changed. Like what you said, everything's more open now. Everybody sees a lot more that they should do. They're not being taught morals. They've been taught slackness, and they've been taught you got to do this. You try to be yourself. You know what I mean? But it's a sad state of affairs, because in France here, the kids I teach are from the ages of 11 to 20. I have about, before when I used to train in England, I had about 500 students. I don't do that as much now. I'm older now, I'm 50. And I teach about 10 kids. And what I try to do is I try to take it easy, because teaching 500 children and adults is not good. It's too stressful. But I take it easy. I do my 10 students, do my meditation, do their Tai Chi, and it's easier to manage. But they kind of look up to you and say, okay, I definitely want to learn from you. And they tell their friends, oh, this great guy, I need to learn from him. So that whole mentoring thing, that whole looking up to somebody, that whole being a Black person of influence does work depending on who you are. As you are running your own barbershop, people come and sit in your chair. People are going to look up to you and go, yeah, man, my man's cutting my hair. And you'll drop some knowledge. You won't even realize you're dropping knowledge. But my man's looking at you, yeah, I want to come back. He's giving you business, but he's going to come back and say, this guy's got something to say, you know, especially if you're in a barber environment, you know what I mean? I think we've lost something there, definitely lost something there, especially over here in France.
It is, and it's sad, isn't it?
5 minutes before we finish, and
Oh, no.
I was going to say, you realise now you've got 2 more customers. You've got 2 more customers from London now. But the only thing is that they're going to be cheap, really cheap. It'll be 1 minute.
It's on the house, don't worry about it, we got you. But to close off on a note, as I said, the lady, the question was like how to get into our heads, and as I said, as Black women, like, you get what I'm saying, and Black guys, we have to work together, because as I said to you, like the system, like get into our homes and demolishing our homes, and then like sometimes each party maybe like saying things in front of kids where the kids don't have no respect for the adults out there because of what the parents saying. So as I said to you, you have guys who do it and you have ladies who do it. So as a black people, like, we have to like search ourselves in it and see where we're standing it. Because as I said to you, like for a kid to say you're not my dad or whatever, it have to come from the home in it.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
as I said, it's sad sometimes as an adult, you see kids on the road and you but you know obviously either the mom not gonna be happy you talking to them, or you know the kids they're not gonna listen to you, and you know exactly the road what, and it's sad, like you see it every day and you just know what the end result is gonna be. It's heartbreaking. You get so as I said, we just have to just work together and it does help who that can be helping it or who will help. But the mothers, they have a responsibility to know that, you know what, all the guys are not the same, innit? You get what I'm saying? So sometimes just bridge what you say around the kid in him to know that, listen, even though he's not your biological dad, or you get what I'm saying, he's not able to listen to what they're saying, pick sense out of what they're saying, innit? But it's a hard one. We have a lot a responsibility as elders, innit, and as man. You get what I'm saying? And as I said, for only way we can carry out that role, the mothers have to be there with us, innit? You get what I'm saying? Just be careful, like what you say amongst our kids, innit? Because it's not the same.
It's a village, man, woman, whatever.
To raise a child.
Exactly.
Yeah, it takes a village, but again, it's easy said and done. You get what I'm saying?
And the mentors as well.
Does they allow the village? You get what I'm saying? To get involved, and that's the question.
Do you want the village to get involved? Because is it everything in the village? Is everything that's in the village worthy of learning?
No.
Yes, really. Everything in the village, like everything in the farm, good to eat.
Yeah.
If you understand everything, every little thing, whether you don't see it necessary, it's need to learn. God, every little bit makes one whole, and it leaves something out, something missing.
Yeah.
Do you think everything
you might not like?
Sorry.
You understand? You might not like the other person is okay with it. That's why the communication has to be close. You have to communicate really good. That's the only way we can get past these hurdles.
And are we good at communicating?
We're not really good at communicating, because sometimes some of us think that's where what we say is rules and that's law, and we don't want to listen to the other one. And what they're thinking and saying that we don't want to listen, we think we are right and they are wrong. It's not about who are right and what is wrong.
Exactly. It's about compromise.
Right.
It's about compromise. Yeah.
Right, and get it right.
Yeah.
And in all the stuff that you guys were saying to me, I'm hearing compromise. Is that a weakness? And is that a weakness that you'd be willing to? Is compromise a weakness in terms of masculinity?
No. It's a strength. It's more of a strength than a weakness. Because when you're learning, and from your learning, it must be good. You're only building stronger within, and you're learning more, and you're communicating more. And you keep understanding. Because remember, we individually, we don't know everything. You eat half and we are another half. We make one whole. So you keep teaching me, we keep talking, and we keep getting it right with things that we never know as simple as it is, or as funny as it is. We can still learn from it to strengthen ourselves.
So we have to be open-minded. But I'm just thinking, so what happens when we headbutt? What happens when the answer to the question ain't so easy? What happens when the answer is clear in my mind, clear in yours? And how do you move forward with conflict then?
Well, you just have to...
Because I know some guys like to put their hands...
You just have to keep debating. You have to just keep debating about it until you come to the right answers, because there is a right answers. but you don't reach to it as yet. So you have to keep going at it. You can't give up on not one point until you get the answer. But the answer is still there.
Okay. So the answer is to keep on going until
you find the right answer.
Okay. This is very interesting.
Yeah, you just keep going on it, go until you find the right answer. And then you move on. And then you find out that your communication is close and your understanding, and you kind of develop the same kind of mindset. So there is something wrong, but I haven't got the answer for it. And probably you haven't got the answer neither. But we keep going at it till we find the answers.
Okay. That's an interesting, and I think it's a valid one, but I know it's difficult. I know that if you look at my family,
to reach a point is difficult.
Yeah.
That's why when you say about mentor, can you imagine if Martin Luther King or Nelson Mandela did give up? That's their life. That's their whole life. But they didn't give up.
Okay. They kept on going.
I
was going to say,
until they,
I don't know whether
they're ready to die. That's how long they keep going till they're ready to pop off. Then they find the answer, and the world find the answer with them.
Which is fair.
Okay.
Chantel, did you get the joy of asking the guys about masculinity? Because I want to know.
We've got 5 minutes. We can go there if you've got time.
Guys, have you got the time?
Yeah, I got time.
I'm definitely available.
Yeah, man, you can go at it, man. We haven't got nowhere going at the minute.
You know.
We're going. No.
You know.
No. Let's go for the next 10 minutes because it shot.
Yeah, we lost some. So go round the room.
Question.
I'd like us to go round the room because I'd like to hear what defines your masculinity, particularly as a Black man. What defines it for you?
What's masculinity? What's masculinity?
Yeah,
so who's answering first?
I'm asking what's masculinity?
What is masculinity?
I want you to answer it. That's the whole point of me not saying. Because I can come up with my version of an answer, and today is about me learning. Like the gentleman said, let's keep going at it. Let's keep talking until I hear. I need to learn to listen. I want you guys to tell me.
What's your version of masculinity? What's your description?
My version of masculinity.
What's your description?
To yours and different to yours and yours. We're looking at the Black today.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking you. What's your idea of masculinity?
Do you really want a woman's answer first?
Yes, that's a right good one. Woman have all the answers.
Okay.
You do it.
My definition is a guy who is strong but doesn't have to prove it, and that strength isn't about his physical body, because it doesn't interest. Yes, I'm interested in men's bodies, but what I'm saying is what I find attractive is a man who holds a sense of his self, has values, and those values reflect how he is in the world and how he responds to other people. So that answer won't be the same for every single man I meet. What I do is every time I'm in the presence of men or women or Black men, I want to get a vibe off you. I want to get a sense of who you are, because that is defining masculinity for me. I want to know, are you confident in your own self?
Well,
is that...
You said the answer right there.
Can I say something?
Go on.
I want to say something. For me, is you need both male and female to be one. You asked the question, what is masculinity? The only person that, for me, who would see that is the person receiving it. And for me, generally, it's only a female that can see what's masculine, where as a Black man in this society, I can only receive signals from what I perceive to be his femininity, if I'm saying that right. I can tell you what a female should be, that soft, nurturing, loving, understanding individual, you know, that I'm drawn to, and that's how I would express it. But I'm glad he asked the question to you, because him describing what masculinity is, you know, I haven't even thought about that before, ever.
Yeah.
And for a man to describe what to be masculine, where did that term come from? Is it the smell? Is it the thickness? Is it the way you walk? We don't see that because we're not drawn to it. It's not signals that we're gonna take on board.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You the woman have to see that.
No, keep going.
No, I totally agree. No, it's definitely what you were saying. Definitely 100%, because it's like saying, you know, how do you describe yourself as a black man? You have to really kind of look at it. It's more about balance. As a man,
Balance.
It's about balance.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head, man.
Yeah.
I've got the ankh on my hand, and anybody who knows what the ankh is, it's the coming together of one. You know, nature, the woman and man, the womb. You know, I could go on and on, but I can get lost in trying to express myself. But
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you, brother.
Yeah,
I was gonna say,
yeah, it goes deep. But as I expressed it, you know, coming from you who asked the question, you are the best person to express it in this conversation here, and then me in turn, and Mario expressing what femininity is, you know, in not so many words.
No, let's do the words, because we got 10
No,
minutes.
but as I say, as a man, because of how I am as an individual, I'm not gay. I cannot see masculinity.
All right,
I don't see
let's
it.
put it this way. The man can see the masculinity, if I'm kind of right, in the woman. You understand? You can see it in the next man if he's, like, for instance, to say a funny guy, then when you call a gay guy. You understand? You can see, you understand what I mean? Just so you are the one that's supposed to see it in us, what person we are. And how you're going to know that you have to keep communicating with us. You understand what I mean? With whosoever, in the work or whatsoever, that's your judgment. You understand what I mean? So that's how we see, we develop ours as well. With what we see. But we can't just ourselves, because I might be telling an unfair story about myself. You understand what I'm saying? And you don't see it. You understand what I'm saying? I might tell you, Steve is this, that Steve might say, know him is that, this, that, whatsoever. You understand? We see his people more than how we see ourselves. You understand?
Okay. Yeah. Sydney, Steve, what do you think? Is it energy?
I was going to say, it could be energy, but also, well, you know, I'm coming on with the masculinity thing here, because now in a way, I'm fulfilling two roles, you know, being a single parent now, divorced guy. So then I've got to show the sensitive side, which would people would say is the feminine side of me. But as a guy, actually, I think as well, you can be sensitive too. So it's that thing as well, you know, being strong, all that kind of stuff. You know, but I don't know. I've never really had any real views of my masculinity. You know, I just thought of myself as myself. And the strongest characters that have been around me have not been men, believe it or not. It's been my mother, my grandma, my exes. Very, very strong.
I agree. My grandmother was like we used to call her Don Corleone. Oh yeah, proper. And people would go to her, and it was just like aunties and stuff in black communities. They have aunties and, you know, grandmothers and stuff. But she was the Don, and people would come up to her and ask her things and ask her advice. And she would do this typical thing, as you guys would know. She'd get the orange, and she'll have a knife, and she'll be peeling the orange, and she'll peel it perfectly. And by the time she got to the end of the orange, she'll have an answer for you.
Did anyone kiss her hand before they spoke to her?
No, they just come in, they would bow, give her a knowledge, and then sit at the table and say, I have a question. Dear.
So that brings me to the balance then, because we were talking before about mentors, and in the word is men. So is there this auntie and a mentor for all? Or do you just feel you are drawn to someone that you want as your partner, or somebody that whose advice you respect in the community? How do you know which energies are your energy? Because one of the things you said that I thought was really interesting is that as guys, you expect us as women to be drawn to your energy or bring a certain type of energy to the relationship. Did I get that right? Or because I'm learning new stuff, so I'm trying to make sure I've understood it. So you look to women.
Expect.
How do you get the
it? It's not something you expect. It's either there or it's not. That energy is there or it's not. And you vibe to it. You're either drawn to it or not, but it's not something you expect. Because you still need some form where you can say this energy is not for me. Otherwise, with everyone. If that was the case, if you can get the same energy from everybody, it won't, right? So certain people are drawn to certain people are not, and it's just that simple.
Right.
Yeah, some you feel, some you don't.
Right. Okay. So who teaches you you're good at? Who teaches you which energies you should be are good for you? Because I won't say good or bad energy, because you're saying you're drawn to what you're drawn to. So who nurtures you into an understanding of what is a good energy?
Start from, you have to know yourself.
You have to know yourself.
And if you don't know yourself, that's when you're going to be like a wind to the chaff. You take like a chaff to the wind, you just go all over. You have to know your worth. You have to know yourself. You have to know foundation in it.
I think it's all about self-love.
Yeah.
And knowing about yourself. That's how you attract, that's the energy you attract. I don't think you kind of make that energy. You have that energy anyway. If you're very confident in yourself, not kind of bragging or anything, very confident, you do what you need to do. Back to that word, balance. If you're balanced, you'll attract people that will find you interesting in that sense. If you come across dodgy, you're gonna see it. Women can see that, definitely, but with men, okay, there's a certain prestige, a certain way men should be. But then if you feel 100% within yourself and somebody's turning around and, yeah, well, you're like this, go, well, so, yeah, I'm like this, but I know I'm carrying myself well, again, down to that word balance,
Okay, I'm hearing something new, because for the young girls, I would be intrigued to see how they manage balance in terms of if we blindfolded the girls and said, choose the most attractive energy and just allowed you guys to talk, I would be interested to see how they then chose.
Again, hence
does that mean?
That's why I asked you before, your description of masculinity. And that's why I don't add nothing to it, because you said it all. And again, as I said to you, is go back to the ladies. They have a responsibility. They have to know themselves. They have to know their worth. You get?
I agree.
Wow, it's the first time I've heard.
These ladies are like not most females. Like I said, they don't know themselves. They don't know their worth in it, and then obviously it's hard to get that balance in it. You get what I'm saying? So they have to know themselves in it. So when they come into the table, they have to know not what they're gonna bring to the table, but they're gonna have to know themselves. So when they take their seat at the table, they grounded in it. You get what I'm saying? So if you blindfold them and if they're lost, if they don't know themselves, you get what I'm saying? It's a struggle for them, innit?
Be a little lost.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Chantel, how are we doing for time? Because I haven't finished, but
So that's fine.
How long?
We've run over.
Oh, sorry. Remember, I did that pitch out. I got pitch out.
Hey?
I got thrown out.
We all did. We all got thrown out.
Yeah.
We all did.
But it's okay. We'll do a part 2. We can come back to it. That's fine. I'm just really grateful that we've had this time to spend, have this discussion.
It's been fantastic meeting you guys as well. Really fantastic.
Nice meeting you guys, man.
Yeah, man. So, you know, one time I'll be making my way up to Manchester. So I hope to see all of you.
I know the person you want to know, like, you get what I'm saying, masculinity, like, for me, it's like, you get me, I maybe have this size, but sometimes I stay in my room, I cry, you get me. I think, because my parents are back home, my mom are back home. Sometimes I hear a song, and it brings me back, like, the love for my mom and the connection for my mom. I don't have the tears in it, I cry in it.
Okay.
Sorry, go on.
No, because I was going to say you're emotionally engaged. You don't fear your own emotions then.
No, because I said I know myself, because when that tears dried, I know who I am. You get what I'm saying? So those tears don't define me in it. If I said to my mistress, oh, I run the house in it because I'm not good with money, I'll go out there and I'll splash it. That don't define me in it. You get what I'm saying? I know my identity when it comes to the model, I know my worth in it. You get what I'm saying? And then, that's why most like guys like we see on the news, guys like struggling because you know yourself in it, know your worth in it. So if my sister like see a couple of tears and she want use that to define me, then that's her loss in it. I'm not gonna try and prove that I'm not. Or living in the shadow in it. You just know yourself, know your worth in it.
It's all right. You say it and it rolls off you like water. But let me tell you now that there is a part 2, because we're going to break it down, because know your worth isn't as simple as the statement you're making.
Exactly.
I've loved every minute of it, despite the power cut and technical difficulties, but it has been an absolute joy to sit down and smash some stereotypes. Absolutely beautiful.
And we noticed when the power cut came on, we realized who was interested, we know who was on board in it.
Lies!
When the power came out, we see
Listen, I know myself. You ain't doing me like that. You ain't doing that to me. Lies. Where?
All right.
Okay.
Oh, man.
And we'll
see. Nice to meet you guys.
Okay, we'll see you some part 2. Love you.
Thank you, man. Take care. Bless.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.